Hi, and welcome to the Virtuoso Podcast. My name is Theophil Asamoah Jedu, and I'm the founder and artistic director of Gramophone Ghana. I'm also the conductor of Gramophone Chorus and as well the director of Gramophone Academy of Music, and now the host of the Virtuoso Podcast. This is a platform where we are going to be having conversations with virtuosi, people who have gained mastery in some aspect of music. We're also going to delve into issues about life and talk about their life's journey. We're going to take some nuggets from them about how they have lived their lives and how art music and choral music can impact our society. This is the first episode, and so would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to our channel so you can get more content like this. It will also help us reach more people and keep you up to date when we send in a new episode. So welcome aboard, and we hope you enjoy our conversations. Welcome to the Virtuoso Podcast. Mr. James Varrick Armaah.
Hello, sir.
A big man.
Choral
is a food now, young big man.
Small man, a man in the making.
Oh, we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing this. And welcome to the Virtuoso Podcast.
Thank you.
We discussed it some months ago there. I wanted to have a conversation with you. And you graciously agreed to come.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
I also count it as an opportunity. I always don't take discussions about our industry for granted, so I am happy to be here.
Thank you. So we just want to have a conversation around art music, choral music, church music, but this episode is special because this is our first episode.
Oh, wow.
And to have a stalwart like you,
am I not lucky?
You are blessed.
I'm blessed.
I'm
blessed. Thank you.
No, the last time we met was, in fact, just over the weekend at a wedding in Kumasi.
That's right.
And we did a few songs together. And then the last time before that, you were at our concert, which was a pleasure. Thank you for coming. We are very, very honored to have you.
That was a great concert.
Thank you. Yeah. But the time before that we met face to face was at the launch of your book, Varrick Collections. Is that what it's called?
That was last year. The fourth edition.
Yes, the fourth edition. Yes. And I was in the audience, and as I sat down to witness the concert, I looked at a number of people that were there and the caliber of people that were there to celebrate you. One thing that came to mind was Proverbs 22:29, which says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings." Amen. And not mere men.
Amen.
And you've been diligent, you've been consistent with your work, and it's been something that we are so pleased to see.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm happy to see some of you take up a lot of roles and also building very strong institutions. And so it makes us feel that the work is not one in vain. We are not alone.
Yeah.
We have people working or believing in what we are doing.
Yeah.
So I find it very happy when I see people doing what you are doing.
Yeah.
So keep it up.
Thank you very much. So, James Varrick Armaah. As for James, I know James was a disciple of Jesus, and Armaah is probably your family name. But yes. The Varrick, I've always wondered, where is this Varrick from?
Okay. Originally, I happen to be a Fanti, or let's say a Futu. I was born in Winneba, bred, whatever in Winneba. My grandfather is a full Winnebarian, 100%.
Okay. And
my grandmother is half Winnebarian and half from Gomoa, France. We call it Gomoa Las Palmas. So I happen to be from a number of places. My father is Ga originally, and also from a part of Central Region.
Oh, okay.
But they relocated even before my father was born. So I think I count myself 100% Efutu. I'm a Winnibarian, and I'm a proud one at that. And I was named James Varrick Armaah. The Varrick, if you know a bit about church history, the founder of the AME Zion Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Zion, that's the first slave church or black church in the world. It's called James Varrick. He's a black man.
Oh, okay.
He's James Varrick. So if you go to New York, the last time I was on the street and I saw James Varrick Street, I said, man, the only difference between his and mine is that I think at a point I got the spelling wrong. Okay. It's just one R. Mine is double R.
Okay.
But it's still the same name. It's James Varrick, the founder of the AME Zion Church. And so, in essence, they were thinking that I could also be a priest. Maybe I'm a founder or something. A founder of music.
Yeah, no, but you're a priest. You're a priest. You're a priest of music.
I'm a low priest.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you are of the AME Zion denomination.
Yes, my mother is 100% AME Zion.
Okay.
And my father, originally a Methodist, and followed my mom to the AME Zion Church. So I was born into the AME Zion Church, but I had a privilege to be everywhere because my grandfather was Catholic as well. And the family was split. We have the AME Zion people, we have the Methodist people. So I count myself very blessed. I had the opportunity to go anywhere. Could go to the Methodist church, and especially when I started playing the keyboard, I was everywhere. And a typical Sunday, I'll be playing for about 4 churches in Winneba. So this is my story.
Okay, that's amazing. So you've spoken about Winneba. If you can tell me about that background, your childhood, some people spend their time playing football, other people, maybe you went fishing because you were in Winneba.
If you know Winneba quite well, Winneba itself is split between the, let's say they call it the estate or whatever, and then the fishing communities. So a lot of us who grew up from the other side can't even, I couldn't speak the language until I came to Accra. I learned Efutu here in Accra
I see.
at the University of Ghana. That's where I met a lot of my people from Winneba. And when they had to disguise and speak another language, they had to speak Efutu. So that's where I had to learn.
Okay.
But when I was in Winneba, no, not at all. I considered myself as a Fanti, and that's the problem we have in Winneba. So growing up, I was born in a suburb called Kojoberu. It's a very vibrant area, and I grew up around a lot of people. It was a big family house. My grandmother and my grandfather, and my maternal grandparents, and funny enough, they were all teachers. They were like educationists. My grandfather was my head teacher through primary to GSS, and my grandmother too was a head teacher in another school. And because of my uncles a lot of them being out of the country and out of Winneba, their children, and they were all being taken care of by these grandparents. So we lived in a very big compound house with a lot of people. Unity. It was fun to grow up. Music was not a bigger thing in that house per se. I know they all loved music. Used to play Sunday morning piano classes, Unique FM, that radio GAR. They used to play hours with the masters. I used to listen to that. We used to watch church bells and all those things, but not too big in the house. But I loved music. I knew that I loved music so much that I used to disturb a lot of musicians whenever we went to church. So I think, but on record, my grandfather was a chorister.
Okay.
My father was somehow more than a chorister. He could teach music to some extent and conduct the choir sometimes. And my mother was a chorister too. So maybe I inherited from them.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And you attended primary school in Winneba?
Yes.
Was there any music there?
Oh, yeah. I started basic education in, if you know Winneba, we used to have two specialist training colleges, the Advanced Teacher Training College and then the Specialist Training College. The two of them now together forms the University of Education.
Okay.
And so they had different, ATTC, Advanced Teacher Training College, is currently the South Campus. And the North Campus is Specialist Training College. So I used to attend school at Advanced Teacher Training College. My mother used to work there. So I was there until my mother moved to Gomapotin to work with Ahmadiyya Secondary School, Tia Ahmadiyya Secondary School as a librarian. And then I had to move to my grandparents' place. I had to change school to the STC, which is the University Practice Not Today. And that's where I completed. And I said my grandfather was my headmaster.
Oh, okay.
Who refused me admission in primary
You
three.
are kidding me.
He said we didn't tell him early, so there was no admission. Then I had to wait for a year before.
He was a principled man.
Yeah, he was a very strong man.
Yeah,
he was. I think I'm taller than he is, but he was very heavy.
Had the
So today,
imposing presence.
I'm winning, but so I must stand up and so that's it. Basically.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. What were your earliest musical influences? Because you said your grandfather was a choir master, and your mother was a chorister, and so on.
I think church, because we used to go to church, and every time, I love the songs that the choir sings. I mean, every group in the church, every song that comes from the church, I loved it, and I remember we would go back home and mimic whatever happens in church. And my brother would my big brother would put some cloth on his shoulder, dressed like a choir master. And then somehow we'll be playing the conga, and I'll be playing the organ like this. It was interesting. And so I knew right from beginning that I was in love with the instrument, but how to learn it was going to be a problem. As for influences, I had a lot. I've been privileged to see a lot of musicians. Growing up, Winneba was like a heaven of music. You hear big names. I mean, we didn't really have radio stations and social media, but you still hear about them. You hear Mensah Sefi talk about Adrian Geni, we call him Joe Finger. Reverend Info, who is now a Methodist priest and Reverend Minister of the Methodist Church, Ghana, and a number of names, and also because of the university, then it was the National Academy of Music. So a lot of people came to that school, and I met a lot of them, very influential people. Maybe that's just my luck.
Yeah. But what do you think it is about Winneba? Because when I look at the number of musicians that have come out of there, recently I was at a funeral in Winneba, and I didn't know the choir that was there. So I sat down in the congregation. Before the service began, I heard the organ play, and out came some voices. So I checked the program and I saw Winneba Youth Choir, and I was thinking to myself, they are amazing. So I asked myself, what is it about Winneba that they're able to get such good musicians?
I think the people in Winneba love music. They love music so much, I know. And even their traditional music. And the traditional music is very strong because of the festivities. Everybody in Winneba sings.
Okay.
And even during funerals, you meet the men, what the fancy say, grazi.
Okay.
Grazi. I think it's a ritual they have to do. They carry some stuff on the street before the funeral. The women will go first with their music. They'll be singing throughout, and the men will also pass. They sing in harmony. On the street. So a very strong choral culture. And maybe we have been blessed as a city. Maybe we need to just harness that potential and do something with it.
I don't know whether anybody has done any study on what it is about Winneba, but I think if not, we should look into it, because it's quite amazing. Yeah,
I don't think so. Apart from the university, we have gifted people. I think you have said something that we need to look into. I recently heard a choir from Winneba. They had a concert, I think an Easter concert or so, and I saw one young. He's my uncle, but I'm older than he is.
Okay.
And he was singing a bass solo. I said, "Where from this one? Who taught you?" And he was singing. So, well, without so much resources or training, you're naturally gifted.
Yeah.
So
That's it. Yeah. So you picked up your music from the church. You learned to play the instrument. I know you are a professional musician.
No.
Yes, now. So tell us about that journey.
See, one of the people who didn't get an opportunity to be taught well in music as early as that should be was myself. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have like a structured
system.
No, I didn't. So a lot of the things I learned, I picked up by just observation or just listening. Remember I went to rehearsal with my mom and the lady was practicing on, she was just playing, don't tell us so family. Then I had learned do re mi fa so latido in primary school, but I didn't know that it's exactly the reverse of do re mi fa so latido that we sing do till I didn't know. So I used to do do re mi fa so latido, mi ti fa so, and then so from there, what the lady did, I realized that okay, and then someone was singing. Something happened, and I got to know that okay, so it's the same note. When you take suka, so once you get your do, do re mi fa so so, and I remember it helped me to learn the trumpet very fast.
Okay.
It was getting me mad. I wanted to sing sofa to every song that I had, so it was quick for me. But how to learn the piano? I didn't have a teacher, so I was trying a lot. I didn't know a lot about the piano. I learned myself. I was just trying. Do, re, keys. I didn't know that tone, semitone, semitone could actually get me a skill.
Okay.
I didn't know this. So I was just practicing every key like this by force. And but I still don't think that was bad because actually it gave me a lot of time to learn. And then it was so practical that I was trial and error. So when I got to know that, okay, so this is a theory behind it, it made me better. So I still don't count myself unlucky. I think that I'm lucky, even in the midst of that.
Well, you learned the hard way, yeah.
I learned the hard way, but I met people. I was fortunate to meet people who gradually corrected me. One good thing about it is that I don't know what God did, but I feel that God also helped me mentally to shape up my mind about correction. I didn't have any issue with criticisms. When anybody says anything, I just take it. I go back to research, get it, and try and get it. I don't have any problem. So I think that is what also helped me.
The first time I heard your name, I heard somebody told me that you were an amazing organist and you played for the Winneba Youth Choir. At that time, I think I was in secondary school or something, and I was planning that when I finish school, I'm coming to join Winneba Youth Choir. Tell me about Winneba Youth Choir. How did you get in, your experiences and so on?
Winneba Youth Choir, I was, as I told you, when I started playing the organ, I was a utility player for almost every church in Winneba. I was going to help the Methodists. I used to play for the singing band, actually, because Kofi Atta had then left Winneba to Mount Olivet, so there was no one playing for the singing band, so I had to go and play. I was still in secondary school, Winneba Secondary School, and then I was playing for the AME Zion Church too. So what happened is, and then with my friend Papashan, we started the Anglican Junior Choir, and Obri, who is in the Harmonious Choral, they were all part of that choir, and I had to, from morning 7 a.m. I had to play for first service at the Ebenezer Cathedral, move to AME Zion by 9:15 for procession. By 10:30 or 11, the pastor will be preaching. I'm sorry, not that I don't like preaching, but that is when I had to go and do the other work. So I'll go to the Anglican St. John's, the Divine Anglican Church, to sing with the junior choir, play for them, and then I come to Ebenezer for singing band. Offertory was a big thing in Ebenezer. It's today in Ebenezer Methodist Church. Offertory session is not a joke. I play there, and then by the time we're done, my pastor at AME Zion Church was a long preacher. By the time I'm done, he will still be preaching or done, and I go and continue the service. I've served everybody on a Sunday, so I was quite known around. And then I think Winnipeg's choir, the organist of the choir then was Edwin Geni, Mr. Edwin Geni. He's currently at Calvary Methodist, and he was going to Ivory Coast. And he had a contract to go to Ivory Coast, and so they needed a replacement. I didn't know about this. I was just called for a funeral. And so Pajon, who is the director of the choir, asked someone to call me that he wants to meet me. So we had a meeting. I did an audition. It's an audition, it's a test, because there was a keyboard. He had to know what I could play.
A platform, yeah.
So I had played a few things, and then I had to meet the choir again, I think the next day before the funeral. So I came to the funeral with them at, I still remember it was at Calvary Methodist. And after that funeral, the late Vice President, Mr. Akar, came to see my mother, that they wanted me to be full-time with the choir. It was difficult because I was in secondary school. I was in second year secondary school. So, my mother would not accept this. And I had to listen to my mother, but I was dodging. I was always dodging to go and play for the choir. Went on vacation, no problem, but school sessions. And I had then fallen so much in love with music that you couldn't control me. You put me here. The next hour I'll be in Accra with the choir. And by God's grace, I was there for from 2000 August. That's when I started playing with the Winnipeg choir until 2007 July. So I served the choir for 7 years, and then moved on to something else. It was a good time for me. I remember a lot of good times. There have been some difficult times as well, but when I put it together, I think I learned a lot about leadership, about working with people, understanding human behavior. I was coming from a very different background, a household. We're just family. We're playing, but you get outside and you see that other human beings are not like you at all. They have their own problems. They behave so differently. You need to understand them, learn how they are. So it gave me an opportunity to understand how human beings behave, and I'm always grateful.
Yeah. So you left Winnipeg choir and came to university, or you went?
I was in the university. In fact, I came to Legon in 2002. Okay. So I was still with the choir.
Still with the choir, okay.
So then I was going back and forth to Winnipeg for rehearsal. Not every day, but we used to rehearse twice in a week, and I usually would go on Tuesday, because the weekends I had. Then I also started playing for the St. John Methodist Church at Tantra Hill. So every Friday I had rehearsal there. So I had to go to Winnipeg on Tuesdays, come back, school session. So, I never enjoyed life as a normal student. On campus, I was always not around, apart from
lectures,
class hours.
and so on. Yeah.
Either we have a program, going to Winnipeg. So this has been my...
Was it difficult choosing to study music? A lot of people battle with that decision, especially given our context.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember I had that discussion with my mother some years before about music. Personally, myself, I didn't want to do music. In my teen years or the younger years, I said I was going to be a land economist, or at least a lawyer, because I love argument. I want to argue out things, and I also believe that I need to make money on my own. I don't want money
it's
from...
very important.
Yeah, so I didn't entertain the whole idea of pursuing music. I remember one time I went to church and some people were teasing. They were not teasing. Actually, they were just saying that, oh, you're a musician. You'll be a musician. You go to NAM. And I was angry and crying. Then, why would you say I will go to NAM? I found it very offensive.
Offensive comment.
But, the funny thing was that when I was done with secondary school and had to go to university to pursue music, I didn't even know how it happened. I had bought the form. That's the only form I bought. I didn't buy this, the law, whatever I'm talking about. I never even thought about it because I was so much engulfed into the music. And also, I lost my mom a week after secondary school. So then, there was no one to be a stumbling block.
Okay.
And so the decision lied on me to just decide what I want. So there was no one stopping me. And that's why I am sure if my mother was there would be some little, because she's a mother and she had to also think about her children's future. Because it has also an implication on her as well. So that's what happened to me. So I wouldn't say I was fortunate. Was I fortunate to lose my mother? I was not fortunate. It's a sad situation because I was quite young when I lost my mom.
I realized you celebrated her, I think, a year ago or two.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, in a concert in Winneba.
I was a little boy. It changed my mind. I was 17 years when I lost my mom. So,
that must have been tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. But God has been good and faithful. So we thank Him.
So the next time I heard about you when I finished secondary school was somebody that we both know, Mr. Andre Mbiabaden, played me a recording of a new group that I started in town called Harmonious Quartet.
Okay.
And I heard their voices and I said, then I asked that where can I find the scores to the music that I was hearing. And he opened the book and he showed me these are the pieces. First piece he showed me was Holy, Holy. And immediately I went to learn it. But I was amazed that these were pieces that were composed by, a Ghanaian and, and it was different. It was different from the regular choral songs that I had been teaching and singing in secondary school choir and so on. So it was quite refreshing.
Thank you.
It was quite refreshing. And so tell me, Harmonious Quartet, where did that come from?
I had started writing when I was with the Winneba Choir. I used to do a lot of arrangement of songs.
Skirt and blouse.
Yes, skirt and blouse. That's how we call it.
Yeah, we used to sing it.
Because there were a lot of young people, and myself, I was very young then, so my age mates, they loved to do current stuff. Bianyofo Frubia, Miriso, something, and they want to sing it, and I had to put some clothing on it for them. And but it got to a point that I had written a few other pieces, not too extensive, but because I was working with younger people, and I also had the opportunity when on Legon campus I was helping the Pass Choir.
Oh, okay.
The Pass Choir was very huge. The choir was over 200 people.
Yeah, the Pass Choir was very
and then they loved to dance, and then I used to. Whenever I was going to their rehearsal, I needed to create something for them. And they were one of the earliest groups who authenticated my craft. They loved me. I know that they still do. And then I had to write a different kind of music because I was dealing with the younger people who were not too comfortable with the big songs, the choral renditions of the big, especially the Ghanaian songs. Personally, I used to find them quite, do I say difficult, or I thought it was too lengthy and kasa so dos wom. And so I used to describe it as, I used to tell Reverend New Love that those songs are without breaks. They are like, it's too much for me. Until I realized that actually there were people writing very decent, interesting things, and I had to write something quite simple, and my whole idea was to blend the choral and the contemporary. I didn't understand why we would have music branded as folk choral and some branded. Sometimes when you take the contest song, everybody is relaxed. Once you take the choral song, the people. And so I was just looking for a way to blend this.